Have you ever wondered why we're still healthy and growing when everywhere we go there are germs, bacteria, and infections that will trigger a lot of diseases such as pneumonia, wound, infections, or even coronavirus? Good morning. Today, we will be discussing the cells of immunity. The immune system is a wonderful collaboration between cells and proteins that work together to provide defense against infection. This discussion will be able to give the characteristics of each cell and their functions, explain how the immune system fights infection, and explain the role of immune system. The immune system's functions are defense against microbes, defense against the growth of tumor cells, kills the growth of tumor cells, able to maintain homeostasis, and lastly, destruction of abnormal or dead cells.
Good day, everyone. I am Hannah, and I'm going to discuss the lymphocytes, B cells, plasma B cells, and memory B cells. Lymphocyte is a type of immune cell that is made in the bone marrow and is found in the blood and in lymph tissue. The two main types of lymphocytes are B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes make antibodies and T lymphocytes help kill tumor cells and help control immune responses. Furthermore, a lymphocyte is a type of white blood cell. We also have the B cells and its subcells, which include plasma B cells and memory B cells. B cells, also known as B lymphocytes, are a type of white blood cell of the lymphocyte subtype. They function in the humoral immunity component of the adaptive immune system. B cells produce antibody molecules. However, these antibodies are not secreted, rather they are inserted into the plasma membrane where they serve as a part of B cell receptors. Next, we have plasma B cells. These cells develop from B cells that make immunoglobulin for the serum and the secretions. Plasma cells are differentiated B lymphocyte white blood cells capable of secreting immunoglobulin or antibody. These cells play a significant role in the adaptive immune response, namely, being the main cells responsible for humoral immunity. Furthermore, we also have memory B cells. Toward the end of each bottle to stop an infection, some T cells and B cells turn into memory T cells and memory B cells. As you would expect from their names, these cells remember the virus or bacteria they just fought. These cells live in the body for a long time, even after all the viruses from the first infection have been destroyed. They stay in the ready mode to quickly recognize and attack any returning viruses or bacteria. Thank you, and let's move on to the next reporter.
Hi, I am Jubel Capus and I'll be explaining the T cells and its types. T cells is part of immune system and develops from stem cell in the bone marrow. They help to protect the body from infection and it may help to fight cancer. The first type of T cells is the helper T cells. Helper T cells is a type of immune cells that stimulates the killer T cells, macrophages, and B cells to make immune response. A helper T cells is a type of white blood cells and it's a type of lymphocytes. Second, cytotoxin T cells. Cytotoxin T cells is a type of white blood cells that kills cancer cells. It is a cells that are infected particularly with viruses or cells that are damaged in other ways. Third, regulatory T cells are specialized subpopulation of T cells that act to suppress immune response, thereby maintaining homeostasis and self-tolerance. It has been shown that regs are able to inhibit T cells proliferation, production, and play a vital role in preventing autoimmunity. Lastly, memory T cells are antigen-specific T cells that remains long-term after infection has been eliminated. The memory T cells are quickly converted into large number effector T cells upon re-exposure to specific invading antigens, thus providing a rapid response to the past infection. Thank you, and let's proceed to the next reporter.
Good morning, Mom. I am Dawalan Carpio, and I'm going to report about the natural killer cells, dendritic cells, monocytes, and macrophage cells. Natural killer cells, it is also known as NK cells or large granular lymphocytes, are a type of cytotoxic lymphocyte critical to the innate immune system that belong to the rapidly expanding of family innate lymphoid cells and represent 5 to 20% of all circulating lymphocytes in humans. The role of NK is analogous to that of cytotoxic T cells in the vertebrate adaptive immune system. NK cells are unique, however, as they have the ability to recognize and kill stressed cells in the absence of antibodies in MHC, allowing for a much faster immune reaction. Dendritic cells are antigen-presenting cells, also known as accessory cells, of the mammalian immune system. Their main function is to process antigen material and present it on the cell surface to the T cells of the immune system. They act as messengers between the innate and the adaptive immune systems. Monocytes and macrophage cells are very closely related cells with a few important distinctions and different use cases. Monocytes are macrophages in the blood, and macrophages are monocytes in tissue. Monocytes and macrophages are key components of the innate immune system and are involved in regulation of the initiation, development, and resolution of many inflammatory disorders. Thank you, and let's move on to the next reporter.
Hello everyone, my name is Harold Ramos and I will discuss to you the cytokines. Cytokines are a large group of proteins, peptides, or glycoproteins that are secreted by specific cells of the immune system. Cytokines are a category of signaling molecules that mediate and regulate the immunity, inflammation, and hematopoiesis. They play a vital role in regulating the immune response in health and disease. There are pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory cytokines. Moreover, we also have the complement cells. The complement system, also known as the complement cascade, is a part of the immune system that enhances the ability of the antibodies and the phagocytic cells to clear microbes and the damaged cells from an organism, promote inflammation, and attack the pathogen's cell membrane. And then, we'll proceed to the plasma cells. These cells plays a significant role in the adaptive immune response, namely, being main cells responsible for humoral immunity. It originates in the lymphoid organs and secrete large quantities of proteins called antibodies in response to being presented specific substances called the antigens. Furthermore, we also have the mast cells. Mast cells play an important role in how the immune system responds to a certain bacteria and parasites, and they also help control the other types of immune response. They contain chemicals such as histamine, heparin, cytokines, and growth factors. And that is all. Thank you, and let's move on to the next reporter.
Hi, I'm Jason Nicole Perez, and I am here to give the definition of megakaryocytes. The primary function of megakaryocytes is to synthesize and assemble platelet components and organelles. The red blood cells. Red blood cells are responsible for transporting oxygen from your lungs to your body's tissues. Your tissues produce energy with oxygen and release a waste. Identifies as a carbon dioxide, your red blood cells take the carbon dioxide waste to your lungs for you to exhale. Next is the white blood cells. White blood cells is a type of blood cell that is made in the bone marrow and found in the blood and lymph tissue. White blood cells are part of the body's immune system. They help body infections and other diseases. Next is the neutrophils. Neutrophils are a type of white blood cell. They make up the biggest number of a kind of white blood cells. They kill and digest bacteria and fungi to help the body fight infections and to heal wounds. And the other definition, having neutropenia increases your risk of many of the infections. Let's move on to the next reporter. Thank you.
At this juncture, I am going to explain about eosinophils, basophils, and platelets. Eosinophils do many things which include fend off bacteria and parasites, kill cells, participate in allergic reactions, and play a part in inflammatory responses. Next, we have basophils. Basophils are granulocytes that contain important chemicals and enzymes, such as histamine and serotonin that mediate the immune response upon release. As a part of the innate immune system, basophils do not make you immune to an infection you have had in the past. They are simply among the frontline cells that attack any foreign agent that enters the body. Basophils are part of the body's frontline immune response. They are involved in triggering inflammation in response to injury or infection and play a role in releasing antibodies to fight parasites like ticks and worms. And lastly, we have platelets. Platelets, also known as thrombocytes, are blood cells responsible for blood clotting. Platelets are tiny blood cells that help your body from clots to stop bleeding. If one of your blood vessels gets damaged, it sends out signals to the platelets. The platelets then rush to the site of damage and form a plug to fix the damage. If platelet count is low, which is called thrombocytopenia, the risk of uncontrolled or prolonged bleeding increases. When there are too many platelets in the blood, which is called thrombocytosis, it may lead to abnormal blood clot formation, which can be serious and life-threatening. That's all, and thank you. Let's proceed to the next reporter.
Our body has a powerful army that protects it from various types of threats. These threats can come in the form of mechanical injuries, the entry of germs, or the entry of other foreign particles like dust. This personal army is called the immune system. Every day we encounter a huge number of bacteria, viruses, and other disease-causing organisms. However, we don't fall ill every other day, which is due to our immune systems, an army of cells that is always roaming our body, ready to ward off any attack. The immune system can be broadly divided into two parts, innate and adaptive immunity. Innate immunity is the body's first natural defense to any intruder. Its primary goal is to prevent any intruder from entering the body. The first component of this defensive system is our skin. Any organism trying to get into the body is stopped by the skin. It can also be the mucus or lysozyme in the eyes. Secondly, adaptive immune cells are the second specific line of defense, and they are called to action by the innate immune system. Specifically, it has two main components, T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. T cells come into play when an infection has already occurred and followed by the B cells when the pathogens have entered. After recognizing the invader, the cells can multiply it and combat it, leading to recovery from disease and protection against its return. Our innate immune response is quicker, though non-specific. However, when things get out of hand, the innate system calls for help from the acquired immune system. This system takes days to respond, but the next time we encounter those pathogens, it won't make us get sick. In short, every day that we spend being healthy is all thanks to our immune system.